Today's game features Mikhail Tal playing as white against Francisco Jimenez Morales as black. Move 1. White brings out the knight to f3. Black repositions the knight to f6. White advances to d4. And here, black controls the center with d5. On move 5, white pawn moves to c4. Black pushes the pawn to e6. White expands on the side. Black continues with bishop to e7. Continuing, white develops the bishop naturally. Black completes development with kingside castling. It's white's turn. Opts for the short castle. Black responds with pawn to b6. At this point, places the knight on c3. Black plays activates the bishop early. We're at move 15. White places the knight on e5. Moving forward, black brings out the knight to d7. White pawn takes pawn, challenging the opponent's setup. Black knight snaps off the knight, piece activity takes priority. White pushes the pawn to d6. Black knight hops to c6. White pawn takes bishop on e7. Black queen takes the pawn, creating concrete threats. White plays queen shifts to a4. Black plays finds a better square for the knight. We're at move 25. White pushes the pawn to e4. It's black's turn. Queen moves to e8, creating threats on the opponent's position. Interestingly, white queen eliminates the queen. Black rook wins the queen. It's white's turn. Improves the bishop's scope. Black rook swings to e7. Interestingly, white activates the rook. Continuing, rook swings to d7, preventing the opponent's plan. White pushes forward to d5, creating tactical motifs. Black pawn takes pawn. We're at move 35. White knight takes pawn. That doesn't look right. Moving forward, knight to e8. White now plays pushes the pawn to e5, controlling the center. Black king to f8. White now plays deploys the bishop to e3. Black pawn to c6, preparing a breakthrough. Now, white maneuvers the knight to c3, improving the position quietly. Meanwhile, repositions the rook. White places the bishop on g5, precise calculation required here. Move 45. White pawn captures the pawn on f6. Black pawn captures, removing a key defender, creating mating threats. So, white bishop moves to h6, and check. Black king walks to g8. And here, white repositions the rook. The endgame unfolds. Black rook snaps off the rook, check. The king is in danger. White rook eliminates the rook. Black places the knight on f7. White responds with cuts off the enemy king with the rook. At this point, black knight to d6. Move 55. White brings the knight to e4. Black knight takes knight on e4. White bishop captures knight, moving closer to victory. Black deploys the bishop to a6, not the best move. White plays bishop takes pawn on c6. Black repositions the rook. An inaccuracy. White repositions the bishop, trading into a winning endgame. Francisco Jimenez Morales resigns. Mikhail Tal wins the game.